Sorry about that, folks, for the first 4 minutes being silent there. I hope you guys understand what we were doing, and that is trying to harm Tortuga as much as possible, especially here on the Western Front. He's made a lot of very significant pushes, and what I want to do is pretty much damage him to no end and force him to stop these attacks on the Western Front. I think we've actually done a pretty good job at retaking Mauthausen and a few of these other objectives, but we have a lot of work to be done. And of course, we tried to carry out some attacks on the Eastern Front against the Russians. I still think I want to continue those. I really do want to keep the Russians as weak as possible, but unfortunately, we just don't have enough units to really dedicate here to any sort of real defense. I just think it would be a bit crazy. What we can do is let's take a look and see what our Ottoman units are doing here. They were doing a really good job at almost breaking through against the British line here, and I think no matter the sacrifice, even if it means sending a ton of these units to their deaths, we should absolutely try to break through the British lines right there. We could potentially even send in an additional unit this turn, whatever it takes. Again, even if it means forcing him to reinforce nonstop, I'm going to do everything I can to take these areas. We took Nekli, but it's really not that important an area when you think about it. We're also going to try to surround the British over here in Iraq and see if we can't take back some of this territory. As for the far eastern front with our Turks, again, all we can do against these Russians is hold them back. We are just not as good in combat as the Russians are. There's nothing we're going to be able to do to damage them. So again, holding them back, I think, is a big deal. And as for diplomacy, we were trying to get the Bulgarians on our side. It's getting closer, actually. It is getting closer. We could invest a little more, but we have insufficient funds on quite a few of our actual MPP points. We've used most of those for reinforcement, etc. And I'm not so sure we're going to be ultra effective, but we'll have to find out. So let me, of course, bring this sub down, continue, of course, raiding the Mediterranean, make sure that we are taking some supplies from the French here. I'm just concerned about their push over here in the west. That's been very effective, even though we've managed to destroy a few armies. We still have some issues there. And of course he's going to be here at the northern blockade area. I think our sub is going to be able to get away, but we're starting to see exactly where Tortuga is keeping his ships, trying to really blockade any of our subs from passing by. So I'm going to still try to make it through here. He could end up destroying us, but I'm going to do everything I can to go ahead and damage him, bringing the wolf pack forward and getting some attacks, and finally sending a large part of the wolf pack out into the north, maybe even heading into the Atlantic to deal some damage to the Allies. I think at this point I'm also going to bring my fleet forward, start engaging the enemy. Look at that, sure enough, we've got contact on an enemy destroyer, an enemy submarine. We're going to bring our destroyer forward and try to kill that French sub. We got so close. Unfortunately, we don't have any more destroyers left to really put the kill on that guy. We'll just have to accept things as they are. Look at that near Warsaw, though. Again, a lot of risks we could take here, but I'd rather not. We've also got some artillery, and we should purchase more artillery if we can. Unfortunately, we don't have any money now to do it, but if we get some money, we should purchase artillery and just put it behind some of these units, because that way, if the enemy attacks our front lines, they'll get some return fire, which hopefully will do a little bit of damage here. And I really do want to attack there, but I sort of know better. We could also attack and then fall back, but that leaves this guy open, and we could still reinforce him. Might as well get him back to a strong 10 and continue with the fight. Alright, guys, well, I'll catch you in the next video. Sorry about that initial part of the video that had no audio. It happens occasionally. It unfortunately happened this time. We'll see if we can't stop that from occurring again. Back to the fight!